All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Mr. King, high school principal. I'm joined by Miss Archer,
Hello, everyone.
as well as Brittany and Emily. Do you guys want to take a minute and just introduce yourselves?
Yes, I am Brittany. I am a junior this year, and yeah.
It's Emily. I'm a senior this year, and we're here to talk about our stories.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being willing to share your stories, which is our chapel theme this year. One of the things that we wanted to recognize today was Hispanic Heritage Month. So Hispanic Heritage Month runs from September 15th through October 15th. It was originally a week long when it was started in the United States in the 60s by Lyndon B. Johnson, and it was eventually expanded to a month long. And it was actually originally in September 15th. The reason that those dates were created was because there were several Central American countries who received their independence from Spain. And so that's kind of some of the important dates and kind of why it falls particularly where it does. And I think it's important to acknowledge as well that while Hispanic Heritage Month is important to recognize the achievements and celebrate the culture, one of the things that it's important to acknowledge as well is some of the pain that our own United States government has caused in Latin America through a variety of different things over the years. And to acknowledge that, like many people's stories, it's not just celebrations, right? Life is about the ups and the downs. And so as we hear from Emily and Brittany a little bit today, you may hear some of that, and we look forward to hearing them share a little bit more about themselves and their families and their stories. So again, thank you guys so much for being willing to share your story. So Miss Archer, do you want to start us off with the first question?
Sure. So, Brittany and Emily, the first thing I wondered if you would respond would be to say a little bit about family stories, historically in your family, things that would be interesting for us to hear, either your parents or grandparents, where they come from, just sort of their story of how they got here and then how that influences you. So, Brittany, why don't you start?
Yes, so we are from Honduras, from Catacamas. My dad's from Catacamas Olancho, and my mom's from Los Pozos, sorry. And she came here, she had her first kid at 19 and the other one at 20. And when they were 6 and 7, I want to say, she didn't have the money to feed them. So she came to the US, left them with my grandma, and she hasn't seen them since. They are now 23 and 24. They have kids now, and yeah, she's probably one of the strongest women I know. She came here walking, so yeah.
Thank you, Brittany. Emily, what about you?
All right, so my mom, she came here to the United States when she was 15, and she's from Honduras, Tegucigalpa. And when she came here, she came to my grandma. And unfortunately, she didn't grow up with my grandma. My grandma, she came here before she did, and she would send them money because over there they were really poor and they didn't have much food or anything like that. And so she would send her money and like things like for school uniforms, and she would send her like deodorant and perfumes and stuff like that. And then so she came here at 15, not knowing the language, not knowing anyone, being a stranger to her mother. And then she raised me and my sister here.
Thank you, Emily. Those are important things to know about both of you. So the next question I have is, in what ways have you each felt included or not included? You can either talk about school here or in the larger community. Emily, do you want to go first this time?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I'll start with where we haven't felt included. For example, like sometimes like we could be at a store or something like that, and I could be speaking Spanish to my mom or something like that, and then people they like give us looks or they like give us like like glares or something like that. And sometimes it like makes me feel ashamed, even though I shouldn't, but I feel ashamed to be speaking Spanish, and so like sometimes I switch over to English or like I just say quickly what I want to say in Spanish. And then I feel like for in school, I felt included most part, but for most parts where I haven't felt included would be being like one of the only people with Brittany and a couple of others being Hispanic and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Brittany, you want to talk about that one?
Yes. So one of the reasons I transferred schools was because they wouldn't accept me at my old school, and they would just make fun of me and my friend group because we were Hispanics. And here is not as bad as over there, but it's kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate, you're being honest with us. And, hopefully you guys sharing these stories and being vulnerable is an example to other people as well in terms of sharing your feelings and sharing your hurts, and people can be sensitive to that and work with that as well, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yep. Those aren't easy things to share, so I thank you as well. So the last thing we wondered, and I think, Emily, you're going to speak a little bit about this. What do you hope that the rest of us learn, what all of us learn about Hispanic Heritage Month, or things that we should know about it?
I think one of the big things that people should learn is that there are multiple countries, because most people, when they think about Hispanic, they think Mexican. And I just wish that people were more aware that there are other countries like Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Uruguay. And I just want people to like research it and learn more, because I feel like, yeah, people, when they think like, oh, like Hispanic equals Mexican, and that is just Mexican. Meanwhile, there are other countries that are just as good as Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very helpful to us. I hope that we can broaden our view of what Hispanic month means. And again, we thank you both for telling part of your story. I hope that as time goes on, we get to hear more from both of you. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Bye-bye, everyone.